Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Chauncey Alexander. I am the communication strategist with Strategy Forward Advisors. And on behalf of our team and the Lumina Foundation and our panelists, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your afternoon to be with us here today. Before we get started, we have a few housekeeping things that we want to go over. First, we want to make sure that everyone feels connected, feels welcomed. So please take some time to introduce yourself in the chat with your name and organization. We also would love for you to, throughout the webinar, throughout the engagement, just add some questions into the Q&A box. At the end of our session, we will have a quick Q&A depending on the time permitting, but really want to make sure that everyone's getting a well-rounded experience. So please drop your name, institution, organization, as well as any questions you have. And once again, thank you so much for joining us. We're really excited to share this information with you. I will now pass this to my colleague, Julie.
All righty, wonderful. Well, welcome everyone. I see the chat is filling up, so feel free just to take a minute and scan through that. And for folks who have just joined us, please feel free to put your name and organization into the chat. All righty, wonderful. Well, welcome. My name is Julie Johnson. I am with Strategy Forward Advisors. Strategy Forward is a post-secondary education policy, strategy, and intermediary firm. And we work with foundations, with policy organizations, with systems, states, and institutions to help transform higher education, to help learners achieve their goals, and ultimately to strengthen our communities. We have been so privileged to partner with Lumina Foundation on the $1 Million Community College Challenge and to support the work and to capture the learning. And now I would like to introduce Dr. Chauncey Lennon from Lumina Foundation. He is the Vice President for Learning and Work and the Senior Strategy Advisor. And I will be turning it over to him in just a moment, and he will be sharing a little bit more about what this project is. But first, I'd like to run you through the plan for today. So Dr. Lennon is in just a moment going to give us some of the background on this project. And then we will hear from 3 of our institutional leaders who will share their brand journeys with you. We will share a little bit about what we've learned through this project. And then finally, we will offer some tips to everyone here today on how you can replicate this work, how you can do branding at your institution. And we will also offer some resources to inform that effort. Finally, we will have some Q&A at the end. So as Chauncey Alexander mentioned, please feel free to add your questions and we will get to as many of them as we can. Alrighty, Dr. Lennon.
Thank you so much, Julie. And thank you all for joining today. It's so exciting to see all these names. Many of you I know, I recognize many names and also all the institutions you represent. It's thrilling to have you here for this conversation. So at the Lumina Foundation, we've been working on strategies to improve access to community colleges for many years now. And we are focused, obviously, on increasing enrollment at a time when we're seeing enrollment flat or in some cases declining. And so, we've had this question sort of front and center for the work we do for quite some time. And in particular, in the most sort of recent iteration of our strategies, we were focused in particular on the adult population. Now, I know adults can be a tricky term because we have many folks who are 18 to 22 who are living very adult lives, but we want to include them in the category of adults. But by adult, we often mean people who are coming to community colleges, often from time in the workforce and looking for an opportunity to build skills and move back into the workforce in new kinds of employment. And we recognize that there's been a lot of challenges in making the case to adults that community college is something that will actually help them improve their career prospects. And in thinking through this issue, we recognize that community colleges themselves have not always had the resources and the capacity to engage in three types of activities that lots of other post-secondary institutions do. So that's things like a focus on strategic enrollment strategies, a focus on brand perception, and a focus on marketing. Now, that's not to say community colleges don't do some of those. They do indeed, as you all know. But as a whole, our sense was that we need to see more of that in the community college sector, and we felt that this was an opportunity for Lumina to make a contribution. And when we started thinking about this question, it's not that surprising that we would find that community colleges were often not investing as much as say BA institutions were in this issue. After all, community colleges are open access institutions. They didn't really have the same kinds of needs for strategic enrollment management that many of their sort of BA institutions have. And students are sort of there as kind of sort of see them as an affordable option. And so they were kind of a community resource that you didn't need to necessarily think about branding and marketing as in the way that other kinds of institutions often do. So, but in the face of this challenge around enrollment that we've been seeing for a number of years now, it became clear that community colleges needed to adapt a very different approach to this question of how to make the case to their communities and to adult students in particular, that they were an important opportunity to build skills and put themselves on a different pathway in the labor market. And so we really started to wonder how can we better get a hold on this question of why aren't many adults enrolling in programs that could serve them well, and what was the way in which the community college branding, the story community colleges were telling about themselves, how did that feed into this challenge? So this led us then to wonder, is there something that we have to really do a double click on here around the community college brand problem? Did they not, was it simply they weren't doing enough, or was it that the branding, was not really connected to the community? And was it that they had to rethink the kind of open access institutional frame that so many community members have and, sort of position themselves in a different way? So we felt like there was a real opportunity here. And partly we felt that way because this wasn't an issue that was being looked at across the post-secondary education landscape. That I think there was a recognition that this was important, and you saw other institutions doing it. But for community colleges, what they were doing, it was there, but it wasn't as robust. And it didn't seem to be moving the needle, certainly, on adult enrollment. This led us to develop the $1 Million Community College Challenge. And we really felt like this was an opportunity, really working with all of you to focus in on this question of brand and brand perception, and to help community colleges tell a much different story, a story about what an important community asset they were and what they could do to help adult students and all students really build the skills they need to thrive in today's economy. And so we were thrilled once we launched the initiative at the outcome. We had hundreds of colleges showed interest. Madera Community College, a new college in Central California, was chosen as the winner and received $1 million over 2 years. But 9 other institutions received $100,000 over 1 year, and really to focus on building their brand. And a subset, along the way, we built some other institutions into the mix because there were so many opportunities. And this was an unusual thing for Lumina. We started with a discrete plan, and then we realized that there was so much more we could do with all of you. And so we were thrilled to have that opportunity to kind of do a set of additional projects that really dove deep into this question of how to build brand, how to tell stories, and how to spread that news, spread what you were learning among a wide audience. So I'm just really thrilled that we're having the opportunity today to have this conversation. So Julie, I want to pass it back to you.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much. We're going to play a short video and so that you can hear a little bit more about the $1 Million Community College Challenge.
When people think of college, they likely picture a campus with dorms, football teams, and parents dropping off teenagers. But the reality is that more than 1/3 of today's students are between 22 and 40 years old, and they attend all types of colleges, big, small, far away, or even in their own communities. And while community colleges may not have sports stadiums or dorms, they do have strong connections to employers, talented faculty, and the most diverse student bodies in higher education. What if when people thought about college, they pictured community colleges helping people reach their goals while providing education and opportunity for all? Lumina's $1 Million Community College Challenge asks community college leaders to consider how they can engage and enroll more adult learners by focusing on building connections and engaging their communities. Applying for the challenge is easy. When people think of college,
Excellent. So that was the overview. And as Dr. Lennon mentioned, you can see here are the participating institutions. The winner institution from Central California, Madera Community College, and the 9 finalists who began in year 1, the finalists who continued through a second year. And each of these institutions received technical assistance from a variety of excellent vendors and partners to help them upskill as it related to branding and website and marketing and just thinking through these issues. And so what we saw overall was that every participating institution made tremendous gains related to these key areas of brand identity, brand awareness, and brand promise. And we were thrilled to see that all institutions saw gains related to enrollment, as well as stronger industry and community partnerships. The main thing is that in doing this work, each college took their own approach. And so it looked different for each institution. So what we're going to do right now is we have asked 3 of our institutional leaders to join us and to share their institutional story. So I'm going to add them here right now. And all right, so I would love to introduce these panelists to you. So we have with us today Dr. Stephanie Erdman, the CEO and Dean for Great Falls College in Montana. We are also going to hear from Trent Randolph, the Director of Public Relations and Marketing with Northwest Shoals Community College in Alabama. And finally, we will hear from Melissa Albright, our Vice President of Marketing, PR, and Enrollment Management at County College of Morris in New Jersey. All right, Dr. Erdman, we'll turn it over to you. Whoops, and if you can just unmute yourself, Dr. Erdman.
You can't have a meeting without somebody missing the mute button. Thank you, Julie and Chauncey, for the introduction. We were confident that Great Falls College, a 2-year public institution located in Great Falls, Montana, was a prime candidate for a brand makeover. Next slide, please. In 2022, when we applied to the $1 Million Community College Challenge, I was new to my role as CEO and to the Great Falls community. During my first few months, I was amazed to hear how often our name was slaughtered. It was disheartening, and I felt it was a barrier to attract students. I soon learned the reason for the confusion. Next slide, please. The reason for the confusion is that our college went through several name changes in fairly rapid succession. 4 total since 1969, and the latest change was in 2011. The private 4-year school across the street also changed its name in rapid succession, and that 3 times in 2 decades. Next slide, please. We needed to differentiate ourselves from our neighbors and then penetrate the Great Falls College into public consciousness. Developing a comprehensive brand identity would help us to ensure that our name was shared correctly. Now, the launching point for the brand differentiation was the development of a campus mascot. And no, we don't have sports teams or residence halls, but we thought, gosh, if Geico can have a gecko as a spokesperson, then Great Falls College could have a mascot to rally our campus community and solidify our place in Great Falls. Now, under the direction of Scott, previous slide, please. Under the direction of Scott Thompson, the Executive Director of Marketing and Community Relations, we launched a public contest to identify mascot candidates, and we generated a lot of excitement that resulted in more than 500 nominations. We went through a comprehensive narrowing process, got it down to 3 final choices of a wolverine, an electric elk, and a river otter, and over 2,000 people participated to select the river otter as the college's new mascot. Next slide, please. Our next step then was, let's name our otter. We invited the public to participate, only this time our student government led the naming contest, and they kicked it off at an on-campus event. Throughout the month, we received 250 different name suggestions, mostly through our social media connections. And there was a lot of great debate on a name. In the end, over 3,000 people voted to name our river otter Mo, which was a big shout out to the Missouri River that runs through our town, nicknamed the Mighty Mo. Mo then launched the development of our brand identity at Great Falls College. Next slide, please. We secured a few local celebrities to help us imprint our name. New York Times bestselling author Jamie Ford, former NBA basketball player Josh Hustis, and the zookeeper at Zoo Montana, responsible for caring for the river otters, all joined us in promoting Great Falls College as home of the river otters. The zookeeper was willing to promote our new name, and we were even able to sponsor the river otters, Ben, Maya, and Sam at the zoo. Would you like to play the video, please?
Hi, I'm Allison. I'm the river otter keeper here at Zoo Montana in Billings. When we heard that Great Falls College was looking to get the word out that they're now the river otters, we just knew they had to talk to Ben, Mia, and Sam. Our 3 friends also heard that some of you keep getting Great Falls College's name wrong. Shame on you. It's simple. Great Falls College, home of the river otters. Go river otters.
All right.
Hi, I'm Allison.
Next slide, please. And then here is best-selling author Jamie Ford, who also lives in Great Falls, and he was elated to be a video star and even helped write the script.
Well, hey, I'm Jamie Ford, New York Times bestselling author and zealous celebrity endorser of Great Falls College. I'm also a fair weather mountaineer. I'm a husband and father. Their words, not mine. I'm an Iron Chef wannabe and a retired mediocre pickup basketball player. But I've never been a river otter like my friends at Great Falls College. It's simple. Great Falls College, home of the river otters.
And then next slide, please. Our video footage is available to view on the new Lumina Foundation microsite or on the Great Falls College's YouTube channel, Facebook page, or Instagram. Other promotions that we launched included a huge social media campaign that involved hiring student social media influencers, purchasing advertising on buses and benches all across town. We had a commercial in the Super Bowl and a night out at the ball game and the Speedway. During this brand identity journey, we took every opportunity provided by the Lumina Foundation as a finalist in the competition. And as a result, Great Falls College, we accomplished more than we had originally anticipated. We started by developing a branding philosophy based on warm, friendly, and supportive environment. Next slide, please. Spearheaded by Carmen Roberts, Executive Director of Operations, we created a master facilities plan that embraced our branding philosophy. Next slide. As a result of the facilities plan, Mo the River Otter is now strategically placed near the most used exterior doors, making Mo the first thing seen when walking into the building. Next slide. New zones and zone names were created, and wayfinding signage based on the zones now makes it easier to navigate our complicated campus. Next slide. Beautiful exterior signage lays claim to our expansive outside space. Next. Updated student center spaces like our library. Next. Military Family Center. Next. Native and Indigenous Center. And student lounge spaces like this that is fondly referred to as the Nerd Lab. Next slide. The branding journey also promoted the launch of a new website, again, embedded in our branding philosophy and incorporating our new color palette. The site is focused on prospective students, and it plays off Mow the River Otter and includes call outs to rivers and exploring new paths. And we're really proud that the new site is clean, easy to navigate, and much simpler to use. Next slide. The brand identity efforts have also produced positive enrollment results. Student enrollments at Great Falls College had been declining since 2019. I'm happy to share that we have now had 7 semesters of continual enrollment increases when you do a spring to spring comparison and a fall to fall comparison. That's up 15 percentage points. While we are not yet at our all-time high, we love this upward trend. And we're confident that as we move forward with our brand identity strategy in Great Falls and across the state of Montana, we will continue to see increased enrollments. Next slide, please. My confidence increases every time we spot a river otter across the state, like this gentleman in Bozeman, Montana, 3 hours away from here in the swankiest coffee shop in town where all the MSU Bobcats actually hang out. Next slide. And this family at the ballpark. Yet we do still have brand identity work to do. We have more exterior signage needs, more spaces on campus to update to the new color palette, and better usage of LinkedIn to connect with alumni and the allure of Mo. Now, when I correct people with our name, it's Great Falls College, I'm happy to share the typical responses. Oh yeah, home of the river otter, right? Next slide, please. Also, Jamie Ford says he is more of a celebrity now as a river otter than as a best-selling New York Times author, like he shared in this email he sent us last fall. Final slide. Overall, our brand identity initiative, prompted by the Lumina Foundation $1 Million Community College Challenge, has been a game changer for Great Falls College, home of the River Otters. And now, Julie, I'll take it back to you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Erdman. All right, now I'm going to turn it over to Trent to hear about Northwest Shoals Community College.
All right, thank you so much, Julie. I tell you what, Dr. Erdman, that will be a tough one to follow. Y'all have done some fantastic things. So I will start with our transformation, the rebranding of Northwest Shoals Community College. Obviously, our vision for the rebrand was to make Northwest Shoals a college that is for everyone. We wanted to inspire our prospective students in our community that, regardless of their background, that they can obtain a college degree or a certification of some type. Next slide, please. So this is where we were. Northwest Shoals Community College was the merging of 2 colleges in Northwest Alabama. One in Phil Campbell, Alabama, and one in Muscle Shoals and Tuscumbia, Alabama. The reason I say Muscle Shoals and Tuscumbia is because we have a street that goes through the middle of campus that kind of puts us on in each city. So when we merged these two colleges, Northwest Alabama Community College and Shoals Community College, in the early 1990s, we had 2 very, very distinct colleges. One from a very, very rural area, and then one that was much more metro in nature, one that was primarily known for their academic course offerings, and then one that was known for typically their career technical course offerings. So we had very different identities. And as you can see, they basically took the first word of each former college and put them together in order to come up with Northwest Shoals Community College. So that down the line kind of hurt us a little bit because they kind of kept their own identity instead of being seen as one unified college, which we took the liberty of being able to try to unify through this endeavor. And we feel like it has gone fantastic. Next slide, please. So our process started with the RFP for a branding firm in October of 2022. This was a 6-month process that we committed to. We knew I'm a one-person PR department here at Northwest Shoals Community College. So we formed a committee throughout the college in order to make this happen. So we hired a branding firm. We went through the discovery and research phase with a marketing research firm that really specialized in community colleges across the country. And then in March, we started our design phase, which started with 8 different concepts. And we ended up testing 2 different concepts among 10 focus groups. One thing that we really tried to make sure throughout this whole process, we were very transparent. So we worked with everything from our ambassadors, our student athletes, our alumni, our community leaders, our legislators, our K through 12 partners. We got everyone involved because we knew that we would need them when it came time to champion this, our new brand. And that was very, very important to us. So we went through this process as transparent as we could, getting all of the data that we could on the front end. And then obviously we revealed this in June, and it has been a tremendous success. Next slide, please. So what really stood out in the process for all of this was that the lifeblood of our college are our people, our students, our faculty, our staff. We are a community college that really needed to invest in ourselves. We originated in 1963, 1966 on one campus. We still have a lot of buildings that really speak of the 1960s. And we really needed to show that we invested in ourselves and took pride in ourselves. Our quotes from our dual enrollment and on-campus students, as you can see on the screen, if it hadn't been for Northwest Shoals, I never would have enrolled in college. It's not like in high school. They genuinely care. They want you to do well. They go over and above to help you. However, they wanted it to feel more collegiate. So that was one point that we already started to take out of it. And then another student, they have my back. People care. They answer my questions without making me feel dumb. I wish it looked on the outside the way it feels on the inside. That kind of stuff, to hear it, you see it every day. To hear it, it really affects me a lot. Looking at it from the outside, you would never know how good Northwest Shoals is, but the campuses don't feel united. And that goes back to the unity piece. Next slide, please. So we took away three key things. The visual identity needed to feel collegiate. It needed to promote unity all across the college. It needed to embrace all ages. And then the next slide, I believe, is, yes, the video of how we unveiled it. One key thing that I want to mention before we show this video, during the middle of all of this, the college brought back athletics for the first time in 12 years. So that was a fantastic thing that we did not plan, but it was very, very beneficial because it allowed us to unify our brand so that we could have an athletic and a college institutional brand that really went together and was really consistent throughout the piece. Because, as I'm sure many of us know, athletics can get you in places that you normally cannot get as an institution. Play the video if you don't mind. There is sound, I promise.
Sorry, I think we're just double checking it we had the sound before, so we'll just check it again. Yep, I think that worked. Nope.
WGU's flat rate tuition at your pace formatting, generous transfer policy.
Thank you. So one thing you might notice throughout that video is in our focus groups that we had with all of our students, and when we went through the testing phase, we used the same groups in the research phase that we did for the testing phase because we really wanted to feel that they had bought into the process and that they were truly invested in what brand identity that we came up with. And that has been one of the best things that we did throughout the entire process. You'll notice that a lot of our students, we dropped the hyphen from between Northwest Shoals. And that was because they felt like that was a division between the two campuses. And it made where they did not feel like if they were on the Phil Campbell campus, they did not feel like they were a part of the Shoals campus or Northwest Shoals in general, and vice versa. So we wanted to make sure that we eliminated any barriers that might have stood in the way. In year one, we obviously had the creation of our new identity. We did a lot of environmental branding, everything from campus signage, departmental banners, tablecloths, step and repeat banners, tents, uniforms for our student athletes, wrapping of several vehicles from our CDL truck, as you can see there in that image there below, and then a few other buses. Next slide, please. And then in the second year, we went a step further. And one thing that has been very, very helpful, we were really lacking signage, especially in our career technical areas. And to be able to wrap those garage doors that we had so many of throughout our career technical areas really helped in identifying and bringing a warmth and a collegiate feel to those areas that we had not had in the past. And that was we have had several comments about that. And of course, adding the flags to the light poles and other signage, which gave it a lot more of a collegiate feel, whereas being very functional and being able to find your way around campus as well. Next slide. So ways that the brand has really spread, we instituted Patriot Proud Fridays, where we wanted to make sure that all of our Northwest Shoals employees and students were empowered to wear their Northwest Shoals apparel. And we gave away shirts to all of our full-time employees, as well as all of our dual enrollment students. So those that are enrolled in high school for a portion of the day, as well as coming to the college some, they all had Northwest Shoals shirts that they would wear. I don't know about a lot of your institutions, but approximately 50% or a little bit more are dual enrolled. So that was a tremendous benefit. Back, please. And then the community brand ambassadors, which I spoke of the people that we had from the community, whether it was K-12 or community leaders, legislators, they have really been beneficial in really championing the new brand throughout our community. And the new brand has even inspired our current marketing message of "You Can." So we are now using it on billboards, digital marketing, so that you can get a degree, where we're really driving home that message of that you can go to college. It's achievable for you regardless of your background. You can save lives, which is a message we have used for our EMS and nursing programs. Different messages like that to really drive home that message. And then again, as Julie was speaking, and I believe Dr. Erdman mentioned earlier, enrollment has grown at our institution as well. We are sitting this past fall at the third largest enrollment in our college's history. So you're talking about the largest enrollment at Northwest Shoals that we have had in over 30 years. So that has been a tremendous accomplishment that we are very proud of. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Trent. All right, Melissa, County College of Morris.
Thank you, Julie. So we have two hard acts to follow here, but I'm super excited to share our branding journey here at County College of Morris. Our journey actually began before the pandemic. The college had started to embark on a rebranding of the college, and they too, as the other colleges have noted, there was negative enrollment happening. Things were not in a good place, and the pandemic obviously did not help that whatsoever. And like Dr. Erdman, I came in and saw a little bit of some disjointed branding that was happening in the college, even though we had some new branding assets. And so we quickly got to work. And one of the challenges that we noticed was that we look like actually two very different colleges. One was we look like our typical transfer credit-bearing college. And then we also look like separate, a non-credit workforce development college. And those two weren't being presented as a comprehensive college that we were becoming. So we quickly went to work, and that's around the time that the $1 Million Community College Challenge had started being promoted. You can go to the next slide. At this time, we had also done a strategic plan, and in that strategic plan, we had identified the community experience, employee experience, and the student experience. And we, as we began to unpack these three experiences through our strat plan, we identified that one of the issues that we had was our website. So with the community college challenge, we picked our website to redesign it because we recognized our #1 marketing tool, our website, was not #1. We were outdated. We had lost relevancy with our audiences. We were not dynamic, not really truly mobile ready. There was very flat elements that did not interact. There was no destination. The way our website had been designed had just really been layered and was decentralized. So everyone across the campus was pretty much doing what they wanted to do. And so we decided that we needed to change that. Next slide. So one thing that was crucial to our success was partnering with a vendor who was not just a higher ed vendor, but also had strengths in other industries. Highly creative, and we're able to create a unique website experience. So we were super excited to work with them. You can move forward. And then there was the issue of our brand identity. As the other two spoke about, there was a lack of cohesiveness that was happening. So within our rebranding efforts, when the college had, chosen new colors, new logo, all the things, digitally things were getting better, but our website was still lagging behind. So we were identifying what was our personality as a comprehensive college, what was our brand position and our perception. And one of the things that we were pretty passionate about was trying to get rid of the stigma that we were second in everybody's list or last on everyone's list of colleges to choose from. So we really wanted to overcome that, and we developed our Go Big campaign. And so that was for students to understand that coming to a community college was not about going small. The investment might be small, but that the outcomes were going to be big. And so we did it both for the traditional as well as the adult student market. But our Go Big, we felt like our audiences weren't buying it because they go to our website and that was not big. So we quickly started to go to work there. Next slide. Here is the old website. Lots of buttons, lots of text, disjointed, nothing exciting whatsoever. Pages and pages deep, 2,000 PDFs throughout the website. It was kind of a hot mess is how we felt about it. So we decided not only are we doing a redesign, it kind of ended up being a complete new website. You can move on to the next one. So we heard a lot of voices, a lot of people had a lot of opinions. And so we were very strategic in how we did interviews. We did workshops across different departments like admissions, financial aid, to really create an experience that was all about the students. So that was something that had to change at our college. It was really employee focused was the website. It was what employees wanted. We had to switch that and say, what do the students want and what do they need? And what are the outcomes they're looking to get, as well as that community experience and our partners as well. Next slide. So we did our website, and then we wanted to figure out how do we get the college on board going from a decentralized website to a centralized website. We wanted to manage that website going forward and with strategy versus just putting up everyone's everything and all of their requests. So we decided to throw a party, and while the website redesign was happening, we had also kind of reinvented our mascot. And that was kind of on the side separately. And because we had that project happening, we decided we would incorporate the mascot to make a website party exciting, because no one wants to go to a party over a website. And everybody is used to that, right? On the daily, we all see websites that are changing and it's just not that exciting. So what do you do about that? So we started doing countdowns and teasers. You can go to the next one. And we started creating some mystery and excitement, and we put steps around campus, trying to really tease out that something big was happening. It was on social media. We did interviews asking students and staff what they thought was coming, but we didn't tell anyone. No one on campus except for us and the president really knew what was happening. Next slide. So here was our old mascot, which is more Amazon costume, to the new mascot, which was more college focused. Next one. And when we got to the party, we had branded everything from our what was going to be on stage to a conga line to cupcakes, you name it. Everything had this brand identity and created excitement. But here you can see the old website, very much typical higher ed, wasn't anything splashy, boring. So we had to take that and create the splash, which you can go to the next. So here we ended up getting volunteers across campus from all different departments to be willing to participate in a conga line. And we gave out light up swords to the audience. So every audience member had them. We played really fun music that was celebratory, got everyone involved. And when it was time for the big reveal, the old Titus grabbed the conga line and went around, dancing through all the different aisles and went up on stage, did a little bit of a dance. They went behind the screen and then came out with the new Titus. So then the new Titus stayed on stage, helped me do confetti. We did a countdown to launching the new website. You can go to the next one. So here we have the new website. It was up on the screen. Our vendors came in and they helped present highlights. They tried to explain us moving toward a centralized website. It was really to create that buy-in and excitement versus people just bringing their complaints. Next one. So then after the website, so the website obviously launched, was a great success, got lots of buy-in, and we are currently a centralized website that is much better managed, as well as strategy involved, that has those personas built in. So students actually have commented they feel like they're in a gaming experience when they interact with our website, whereas before they only Googled whatever topic they needed. So then after we had done that, or while we were working on that, we had partnered with Lumina for another grant. And this one was the other part of our submission, which was to really bring our brand to life on campus. So as you can see, the before pictures show some areas of this is what our student center at times look like in certain spaces. Very clinical, not inviting, did not engage our students. And that student experience was really important to us. And we wanted to make sure that we changed that. We wanted students to feel connected to CCM, to their career, and to each other. And we wanted to create that sense of belonging that they were feeling on the website. We wanted them to feel that in our physical spaces. So we started out going throughout the student center and other high traffic areas the students and our community would visit. So here's an example of our clubs and orgs office, and now what it looks like with their faces, different students from around campus. We took all the old and the piled up chairs and trash cans, and we got rid of all that. They actually plant and maintenance, like built another room for this. And now we have this beautiful space where we can find students on a regular basis joining together and working for their clubs and orgs, as well as just enjoying time together. You can go ahead and go to the next one. When you came into our student community center and you're headed to admissions, you would look out on the left, you would see those windows, and it was kind of an unsightly view top of another building's roof that was not pretty. So we put in window decals to use all of the words from our website that we felt were really connecting students, and we put those in the windows of the hallway leading to admissions. And then you walk down to the admissions office and you get welcomed. There's a column that has welcome in all different languages. You have our Titan logo. And then on the other side, which is harder to see in this photo, is actually a community piece that says, it's our president's quote, "We change lives and strengthen communities." So that's really what CCM is all about. And we wanted to tell that story. In our public safety, which is sometimes the very first point of entry, we did some branding there just to welcome people. And then the bottom photo on the left is a space that only held tables and chairs, but it was space that led you to our elevator. What a horrible experience to go past a pile of chairs and tables. And now we have this beautiful view, this room where people can sit and talk, and then they have a great experience heading to our elevator, especially our community members who are sometimes older and they're visiting. They were going past storage areas versus beautiful walls. Next slide. Here are some other areas. Workforce development is obviously a huge part of who we are. So as you head down the stairs from the student center, our workforce development is located there. So we put in very inspirational pieces to help them feel connected to the college as well. And we did our vans. We were missing opportunities with our athletics and our campus life as they're on the road. So we wrapped our vans, and then our gym also got a bit of a makeover in addition. You can move forward. And we have a video. This video was really a culmination of all the pieces. Not every single one is in here, but we wanted on social media to continue to try to change that stigma and really show the community who we are. So we did some paid advertising and we put this video on our social channels.
You know what? Just for the sake of time, I think we'll go ahead and we'll skip that. But you can find that on our Lumina microsite, and we will take you just very quickly through some of what's next. Melissa, did you want to share your next steps briefly?
Sure. So like the other colleges, we're looking at sustainability and how we integrate these efforts into upcoming opportunities. So we have several buildings and programs that are being added to the campus. And so marketing is now involved, and we'll be doing some of that project evaluation at the front end versus on the back end, so that we can continue to operationalize bringing these branding efforts to the college on a regular basis. And we're excited that our enrollment too has been up. New Jersey has not been seeing positive enrollment both on the workforce and the credit side. And we too have had 7 semesters now of positive enrollment. So we're super excited. So thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. All right, so I'm just going to run through what we learned very briefly and some tips. And if you have any questions, please feel free to put that in the Q&A. So here's what we learned from the $1 Million Community College Challenge. First off, branding is about connection. It is so much more than logo, colors, and traditional marketing. And while it certainly helps with enrollment, as we saw from all of our institutions having enrollment gains, branding is about connecting to students, to your campus, and to your community. For students, it is about a shared sense of identity and belonging, a pride of place, and a sense of welcoming on campus. And the same holds true for the community. The second thing is that small investments go far. It really doesn't take much. A new mascot, a new logo, signs, a website. What we saw from today's examples is that each individual effort had an outsized impact. Students and communities saw the difference and they got excited. Branding is cross-functional. This work was not just led by institutional leadership or communications and marketing. Facilities was brought in, faculty, student interns, admissions, all sorts of different offices and services work together to contribute ideas and to have an impact. Through this work, we saw so many examples of the effect that these branding efforts had, from faculty and staff giving increasing, to dual enrollment students and students from other colleges, but from that same town wearing the college swag, pride of place and shared identity really do go far. So what does this mean for you? Each college in this project focused on their specific problem and pain point. So in having you here today, our main question to you is, what is your trickiest issue that you are trying to solve? Really think about that. Every project was different based on a pain point of lack of name recognition, lack of identity, lack of website cohesion. What is your problem that you're trying to solve? Simply make a plan to address it. Take a first step. Second, having departments work together who weren't used to doing so really resulted in great ideas. We also saw grassroots approaches of every time someone hit a challenge or an issue, they would pull together more small teams and colleagues, and they just had tremendous results from this. All right, embracing your blind spot really matters. The colleges who started with learning, and you heard about it here today, focus groups, interviews, surveys, they all went so much further in their brand work because we all have our assumptions, what we think we know. But when we listen to our stakeholders, our students, faculty, staff, our community and industry partners, we learn so much. And what we saw was the brand efforts were designed around that learning. So embrace your blind spots and build based off of what you learn. The heart of the matter is that brand is about a shared sense of identity, connection, belonging, and pride of place. So as you're designing around the problem that you're trying to solve, make sure that you are connecting to those things that matter, that you are telling the story of who you are to each of your stakeholders. Finally, each college landed in a very different place from where they started. They learned along the way, and that generated new ideas that resulted in new plans. They identified other funding and opportunities to make things happen. They built in plans for sustainability. We saw it through strategic plans, branding guides, infusion into policies and processes. And so this work in all of these colleges, while they've done so much great work, they are still continuing. All righty. In our last few moments, yes, please do check out the website, and let me just make sure and put it in the chat. All right, there it is. This tells the full story of all of the colleges, all of our vendor partners. A shout out to Noetic Consultants, Trendy Minds, RPK Group, and others who supported this work. In addition, we will have a second iteration coming soon of a case study in the next few months of our winning institution, as well as an expert's guide with advice to institutions on how to build the brand at your institution. All righty. Okay, so in our last minute, we can take down the slides and see if we have any questions. I think we had one question of how much of an investment were the graphics? It seems like the branding and graphics on campuses elevate the brand quite well. Does anyone want to answer that question?
For us, we did many areas. So in total, we spent around $150,000, but each wall wrap individually had its different amounts depending on how large it was, if we did 3-dimensional pieces. So you can go as low as a few $1,000s all the way up to larger amounts. So it really varied when you're talking about wall wraps. We did banners on the inside of campus, and those were only a few $1,000s.
Great. And any questions? We're just at time. If anyone wants to just put those questions right in the chat, and we can be sure to follow up with more information. Trent and Stephanie, I don't know if you had any other information related to that. No? Okay. All right, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. We really appreciate it. We hope that you are able to apply this learning and these fabulous examples to your institutions. And we will be following up, as I said, in the next few months with more information, more case studies, more resources. So get out there and brand your colleges for identity and belonging of students in your community. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good day.